Good morning, friends. We have a fun project today. We are doing a thrift flip DIY. I was at the thrift store and I was looking specifically for a frame. So I got a kettle recently in my kitchen that sits beside our espresso machine. However, the plug in our kitchen is like really weirdly situated. Instead of being in the back wall or the back corner, it's on the front wall. So you can see the plug, you can see the cords, and it's a messy situation that I don't love. So my idea was to find a frame, put the frame in front of all the cords, and then obviously put something cute in there. So I was at the thrift store and I found a really cute picture frame, which I will show with you guys. I thrifted this at Talese. So it's this gorgeous green frame. And if you know me, I love green and blues. I just think they're so pretty. So we got this and the price for this was $2.99. Also, I don't want to call it a hack, but when you are thrifting, I find thrift stores have such a hard time labeling frames, like I want to say appropriately or the same. So I actually saw this first, but it had something different in the inside and it was like $5.60, something like that. It was kind of expensive, I thought, for just a frame. Kept looking, so the exact same one, this one, $2.99. So I always encourage you to browse the whole frame section. A lot of times frames that are the exact same are not priced correctly. I don't know why. They should have a system for it, but they don't. So we got this for $2.99, which is a score because back in the day it was $4.77. And it's completely made out of wood and it's painted green, which I thought was very fun. And I thought if I didn't love the green, I could always repaint it, but I do love the green. So this is our first thrift, which is amazing. Super cheap base to start with. Now, the way to always like upscale any sort of frame is with matting, and matting has been usually very hard to find. However, Habitat for Humanity has a massive matting section, which is crazy. They're all 25 cents each, whether you get a small or big or medium one. A few videos ago, we scored a couple pieces. So while I was there, I actually went back to Habitat and got some more matting. Unfortunately, I could not find one specific for this frame size, but I thought we could use two and try to see how they work. So I went with blue because the frame's green. I wanted blue because those are my go-to colors. I got two different ones. As you can see, this one's technically meant for a dual photo and this is meant for a big one. They're both, however, slightly big for the frame, but that's okay. We can cut the matting. I just wanted to fill in the sides a little bit. My hope is that the one that has the big opening will work because that is where the photo will go. If not, we'll have to lay the photo on top of this one. Either way, 25 cents each. I thought we could give them both a try. Absolutely amazing. I scored tons of great ones. So that's our next little thrift find. And like I said, this last one wasn't thrifted. I usually do try to find thrifted artwork, but for a kitchen, I usually end up printing out my own unless I find something cute. But I think everything in my kitchen is printed. Besides, like I have a cute little plate and a wooden cutting board, but it's not really a cutting board. It's just the style one that has Birch and Budge on it. I went to Staples and I printed out this gorgeous photo. Josh and I were trying to figure out what one we liked the best, and we both agreed on this one because it's obviously going beside our espresso machine and kettle. And I just thought it's so cute, and it matches the green and blue hues really well. So it's going to be, I always want to say monochromatic, but that's technically for one color. They need to come up with a word for like a dual color scheme, but that is it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And Staples, my biggest hack for decorating the house, if you just go get a piece of paper printed, this was 67 cents. 67 cents. It's like 59 cents plus tax. 67 cents. And it prints beautifully, better than printing it at home. Because when you print it at home, a printer can't do it fast enough and it like warps the paper. But obviously this is like not warped. So it's gorgeous. If I wanted to make this look like a painting, I usually would Mod Podge it just to give it some like brush strokes and everything. But it actually has like a painting vibe already to it. So I think we might just leave it. Yeah, gorgeous. So let's get into it. So the first thing that we want to do is clean our frame. That's what I always do when I bring them home, because usually they're dusty in some sort. This frame has like those metal things that you push back, which is super easy. I much prefer that over the nails. The nails are so hard to change out, but not impossible. So let's take the whole frame apart. I always like to go in with some sort of glass cleaner, and then once your rag is a little wet, I just wipe down the frame as well. I will say this glass is cool because it's frosted, which is not really normal for frames to have like a frosted vibe to it. So it's not exactly clear, but I still think it would have like a cool look in the kitchen. Definitely good that we cleaned it down. I don't know if you can tell, but there's some gunk on the rag. Now that we got it all cleaned up, we're going to do our first part of assembly. We're going to just put the glass back in. Okay. Now we have our glass back in the frame. When I usually put it back in the frame, I always give it another wipe down just because like your fingerprints will get all over it. And since I always want to do this like just one time, I just want to make sure it's extra clean. Now that we're done that, we need to figure out our matting situation. So my first one is hopefully this will work, but if it doesn't, then we have our other one as backup. I still can't believe I got this for 25 cents. Absolutely crazy. So the way I want to go about it is obviously I can tell it's already too big to go. Oh, had a white one in there. Okay, fine. I guess I got another one for free. So I can already tell it's way too big for the frame. It literally will just lay right on top, but that's okay. In the past, I always just cut them to size, which is why it's great to have the cardboard backing. It's also nice to like take your matting and lay it on top of your cardboard backing. A lot needs to be trimmed down, but you can see what also is going to show through, which is great for us because we can see then how this will look when we put it in here. So I'm gonna put the paper on the cardboard backing and put my matting over it. So it almost mats perfectly, but do you see the white sides of the frame? I don't necessarily hate it, but that's just how it's gonna look because I couldn't find, I don't know why they always have ones with thick tops and thinner sides. I guess that's just the style, but it's almost perfect. So let's look how it would look if we used our other matting. Wow, this one also had two. That's so fun. My last ones that I got that were big did not have a second one in it. So that's funky. So now with this one, when I laid it on top, the only issue we run into here is that the cutout is too big, unfortunately, because this would have been my preference to have either no. Let's see if we can make this work. It's like the cutout is just like a centimeter too big because I wouldn't mind the white all around the photo frame, but it just seems like it wants to fall down. However, I don't know if you're going to be able to really tell. It's just like right up here is where the matting has the opening. But I'm also inclined to try to make it work because I really like, since the photo was printed at Staples, it printed it like perfectly, obviously in the center. So you have that perfect white matting look and then the blue. Whereas here, if we did this one, the tops don't have the whites, but the sides have a white. So I feel like this one looks more designer. Let me know your thoughts and what you would do. Because yeah, this one, if I put it on top, you only have the white. And I feel like that looks more like you're forcing the matting and less natural with the white on the sides and not the white on the top. Let's see, since I don't think I've ever used this one again, because I don't really do photos side by side. I don't really do photos, but I do more art. Let's see if we can make this one work, because I think this one looks better. So before we glue it down, we actually should cut the matting to size just so the paper doesn't get like messed up. So in order to cut your matting to size, you obviously want to take the back and put it as close as possible to the center. And then I just get a pencil and just quickly sketch it out. This way you can also see how much matting you're actually going to have left to work with. So it looks like we don't cut off too much of the matting, but some will disappear. So when you lay your photo on top and you sketch it out, you'll see how much matting roughly you'll be left with, which is just really good to tell, just so you kind of had an idea. And then I just go in with any sort of scissors and cut down the matting. The matting is thick cardboard, so it's not exactly the easiest thing to cut, but it can be done. If you had an X-Acto knife, that would probably be a lot easier. I just don't own one. Beautiful. All done. Looks great. The edges don't need to be perfect because in frames, they have a little bit of a border that's getting hidden, so that's amazing. Let's lay our thing on top and see if we like the way it looks. So I'm gonna try to tape it on perfectly. I just have, I think it's masking tape. I'm hoping this way you won't really see the tape that comes through. Also, where it goes in my kitchen, it won't get any direct sunlight, so it shouldn't really light up the back so much that you would see the tape. But if you are worried about that, you can definitely use like the clear kind of tape. Time for the final reveal. Oh my goodness, wow. Okay, that looks so cute. I absolutely love the color scheme. Oh, I'm so in love. That's so adorable. Let's go see how it looks in the kitchen. Welcome to the little coffee corner in my kitchen. So this is the new kettle I just got, which I am obsessed with. It is adorable. It's just a 1 liter kettle that I got off of Amazon. I love the little spout. Pouring tea is just so much fun with it. And it's all stainless steel, which I absolutely loved. I ended up getting a new one because last year mine broke and I had had it for years. It was just a basic black plastic one that I had as a student, and I just kept using it until it eventually stopped working. And we got this, and I love it because it matches my backsplash. It's literally wallpaper. It's wallpaper over actual tile because the tile was gray, and gray's just not my vibe. So it matches that so well. It matches this beautiful painting my friend did for me in the kitchen, and it's so pretty. However, like I mentioned, this is the outlet. I don't know why the outlet is right here instead of being on the back wall. Because like further down my kitchen, I have the outlet on the back wall, which I use when I'm like, for example, using my crock pot or my blender. But here, it's some reason up here, right behind here, we do have another sun outlet. It's a switch for my fan. And I feel like because the switch is there, that's probably why the outlet is up here. I would prefer them to be swapped because I think like a little switch would be cute here so you can get cute like switch plates. Anyways, we can't change it, or I guess technically we could because my boyfriend is an electrician, but that's way too much work. So my goal is to somewhat hide the cords. I have tied them all together here, both the espresso machine and the kettle, but they just sit there and I don't love it, and that is why we thrifted that beautiful frame and did our thrift flip. Currently, I do have this little frame here, which I love. I also thrifted it as well. It is actually just sticky tacked to the counter. It says coffee club. It's got a guy and a girl just drinking espresso up, which is totally Josh and I. It says served every morning, but this one also has blue matting too. However, I thrifted it with the frame and the print perfectly fit inside, which was amazing. And this was a $1.99 frame, if you were curious. I generally don't take the tags off if it's in the back. So I still love this right here. It just adds like a little bit of character and everything, but we need to take care of this mess. So in comes this gorgeous frame we just made. I still can't get over how cute it is, guys. Like the color scheme is just beautiful. It's so on point. And overall, I think this was under $5, which is absolutely amazing for a 3-part DIY. So it perfectly does fit, like height-wise. I was worried. I didn't do any measurements and I got home and I was like, oh my gosh, is my frame gonna be too big? No, it's perfect. However, we're gonna have to do some jury rigging because that's kind of where I want to go, but it's a little messy. So let's do some moving around. If anyone's wondering, after we do espresso, we put the coffee grounds in here and I thrifted it and I love it. And then we just, at the end of the week, empty out the coffee grounds into our compost because it's on the other side of the kitchen. And I just think this is way easier and so adorable. Literally everything I own is thrifted. So I was gonna say, on our social machine, we got this on one of our last thrift trips. And this I thrifted for my matcha, as well as Josh does his double long shot in here and then pours it in his to-go cup because your to-go cup is generally too big to go on an espresso machine. So I'm gonna move it slightly over. And we're gonna nestle it right there. My hope was for it to lean against the wall. Right now it's kind of just in free flow. One of my biggest hacks is sticky tack. I don't know if anybody uses this besides me. I've grown up using it and it's absolutely so good if you don't want to put like dents in the wall, like holes or anything, or like 3M hooks. Sometimes they take paint off. This never takes the paint off and it lasts forever. Like I've been using the same sticky tack for literally years, and then when my parents moved, I found a whole new pack in their house. I'm like, I'm taking that. It's so good. So you don't really need a lot, but I want to use it, I think, to stick some of the cords down against the wall and then the frame itself. Use the sticky tack to stick down. If you can see, there's like a thin black plastic thing wrapped around to tie it, and I just stuck it down because the cords will not sticky tack, just to hold the cord kind of like up and out of place. I don't know if it looks cluttered. The frame is not going to stay itself, so I'm going to put some sticky tack on the bottom and the back of the frame. It just has one of those hooks, and that's what I'm going to put the sticky tack to. That's the first point of contact with the wall. Cover the whole thing so it doesn't scratch the wall. This one is just going to go on the bottom. You don't want it to be too close to the front of the bottom because you don't want to see it once it's squished onto the counter. Also, sticky tack is a great way because every single month I do a deep clean on my kitchen and remove everything off my counter. So it's really easy to just remove the frames and clean. So once you got your thing in place, you just push the frame down and push it up against the wall, and it kind of just secures it in a place so it doesn't come loose. Ta-da! Okay, what do we think? So my immediate thoughts are, I love it, but it looks a little cluttered. So we're gonna move this guy to the green wallpaper wall and see if we like this better. I absolutely love this. I think it's really cute now that we added the frame on that wall. It seemed a little cluttered with the 3 frames up here, which originally I didn't think was going to be the case. However, once it was up there, I was like, ooh, a little much. Let me know your thoughts. Would you have kept this blue frame on this wall, or do we like that we moved it there and kind of made it more of like a coffee corner vibe instead of a coffee wall vibe? Also, I cannot move this one up here. It is actually covering my electrical box, and the frame is actually perfect for it. I'll show you this. It's gray and ugly. So this is perfect. I thrifted this, put it up there. So this one here is not going to be moved or changed. I love the lemons. I think it's really cute and it's practical because I hate that gray electrical box. But these are the ones that we can kind of play around and move with. I definitely don't think I would swap these two because that's obviously way too small to cover the cords. This perfectly covers the cords. I love the greens. I like that it ties into here, ties into the wall, and the blue kind of ties in with our little espresso cup up here, as well as the greens that we have on our coffee grinder thing. I think the corner is coming along so adorable. Let me know if there's anything else you think I should thrift for this corner. I don't know. For me, it feels pretty complete. I'm just like really happy with it.